My name is Megan Osborne Harrell, and welcome to part 2 of Effective Communication. So I've been a teacher for years and years, and I have taught oral communication and theater for a huge portion of that, and I love it. I also love helping people be confident and be great public speakers. So today we're going to continue our talk about effective communication. If you missed the first one, please go back and hit part 1. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I have lots more content to come, something every single week, just especially for you. So let's get into effective communication, part 2. I know that this is a very difficult thing to understand, but did you know that speaking and listening happen at the same time? It's true. When you talk, someone has to be listening. If they are not listening, then there is no communication. I think I've been in that situation before, and I'm sure you have too. You've been telling someone something really important, maybe you've been pouring your absolute heart out to someone, and they have no idea what you just said. Their response was probably something like, or, oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. And you're like, you weren't listening to me. So in order to effectively communicate with someone, you've got to be speaking and they've got to be listening, or they've got to be speaking and you've got to be listening. The street goes both ways, people. Okay, so let's think of an example. So let's say you and your brother are hanging out and you are telling him about all this stuff that you're planning on doing tonight. And he's like, and he's rooting around in his room, digging under clothes and all sorts of stuff like that. And you get done with it and you're like, did you even hear what I said? And he's like, oh yeah, sure, yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that could be happening in this situation, but the most important thing is your brother was not listening to you at that time, so that was not effective communication. One game that I loved to play in my class was Story in the Middle. I'd have someone stand in the middle of 2 other people, and the people on either side would tell about a 3 or 4 minute dream that they had. Now, the idea behind this is that dreams are usually a little bizarre and don't really make any sense. But the person in the middle had to listen to both stories very well and then tell us back what each person's story was individually. It was really funny to see the people that could really multitask and listen to 2 people at the same time, and then the people who really couldn't differentiate between one story and the other and got them completely mixed up. So, Story in the Middle is a really great way for you to check your own listening skills and to be sure that you're communicating both by speaking and by listening. So now we're going to talk about my number 1 favorite part of communication. So effective communication occurs not only by verbal words, but also by nonverbal signals. That means when you are communicating with someone by speaking and listening, remember, that you are aware of not only what it is that they are saying, but what they are not saying. We tend to give nonverbal clues all day long, every single day. Most of the cues that we give, we're not even aware that we're giving them. But if you can start paying attention to your own personal nonverbal cues, you'll start noticing all the people's cues around you and what they're actually saying. Let's go back to the example of your brother rooting around in his room looking for something while you're talking to him. Well, obviously, he's telling you something. Now, what that might be, it's a little unclear because we don't know the whole story, but we do know that he's not listening. He is either not listening on accident because he's busy, or he's not listening on purpose and trying to show you that he's not listening by kind of ignoring you. So one way or the other, we do know that his nonverbal cues tell us he's not listening to what it is that you are saying. When presenting to a group of your peers, they're going to be giving you nonverbal cues as well. They might be shuffling their feet, clearing their throat, looking up at the ceiling, tapping a pencil. Now, some of these might mean that they're not really engaged in what it is that you're saying. Sometimes that helps you to know how you can shift what it is you're doing. Perhaps you need to be talking a little bit louder or a little bit clearer. Maybe you need to do something to catch your audience's attention. Like perhaps you could move a couple of feet over across the room to shake it up a little bit and to get their attention. Either way, nonverbal clues are all around us, and by understanding what those nonverbal cues are, we can better understand what people mean, consciously and subconsciously. Now, why in the world do you think I love nonverbal communication so much? It might be because I've been in the theater world for basically my entire life. theater. I love it, I live it, I breathe it. It's awesome, it's so much fun. And nonverbal communication is one of the most important things that you need to have a full grasp on in order to be a good actor and to be really engaging on stage. Now later on, I'm going to do a video completely devoted to facial expression and all of the amazing things and muscles that you have in your face that you may not even realize that you have. So today we talked about how speaking and listening happen at the same time, and in order to be an effective communicator, you need to be doing both. And then we talked about some different types of nonverbal cues and how as speakers and listeners and communicators, we need to be aware of both verbal and nonverbal communication. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on topics that you'd like to know more about, hit me in the comments below and I'd love to help you out with that. My name is Megan Osborne Harrell, and you got this, guys.